Welcome to RoosterTV, and today we're back after a couple of weeks off, and we're joined by the Head of Development, Jacob Surjan. Thanks for joining us, Serge.
Thanks, Tubby. Thanks for having me on.
No, it's great. We're overlooking the under-13s out here training under the guidance of Brenton Phillips, and the seniors are just getting ready for training. First off, I think we'll start with a couple of guys that Serge had a bit to do with last year that are getting a fair bit of media attention in the AFL at the moment. Obviously, Serge's role is to develop the junior talent that we have here at Prospect Oval, and we had five draftees. So obviously Connor Rosie's had a great start to his AFL career, and Callum Wilkie just got a 2-year extension on his contract. So just talk us through a few of those boys, and I know you've been in touch with them.
Yeah. Oh, it's always good, those guys are obviously premiership stars and heroes. It's always good to keep them in contact with the footy club and get them to understand where their roots are. And we're always here from here at the Roosters, but it's also obviously it's great to see those guys go ahead and hopefully forge an AFL career. And Connor's been one of those. The chat around Connor, and for us, well, I guess for me for the year, and for you guys probably for the last 3 or 4 years, you've sort of known what Connor can deliver. He's just delivering that on a big stage in front of hundreds of thousands of people now. So we only got to see glimpses of it for a short time, but to watch his development, and I know he's working under a great coach in Nathan Bassett at Port Adelaide, who's really helped develop his game over the last 4 or 5 months, and he's been fantastic to watch, not only for us but for the Rooster people. So he's a very humble kid who's just taken it all in his stride, and he just looks like he's enjoying his football, which is probably the main thing. So good luck to him. Hopefully he keeps doing it, because we enjoy watching it. And Wilkie's probably the great story, being a mature age guy who's come in, who people had their knockers about if he could play AFL football, and I think he's put those to bed. I've always said if you've got it up here like Callum does, he's a very smart footballer. He positions himself in the right positions to go win the ball, and then we know what he's kicking and his skills are like. So to get a 2-year contract extension after 4 games of AFL football is a real credit to him, and to Henry Playfair and the coaches at St Kilda for developing him over the journey as well that he's been at the Saints. So well done to everyone who's been involved with those sort of guys, and fingers crossed another guy can make his debut this weekend in Robbie Young. Obviously St Kilda had a few injuries as well, so we've got our fingers crossed for him. He's been playing good at Sandringham, and we've been following his progress, and you never know what can happen in this game. So hopefully he's only a call away.
And the other two, obviously Boyd's at Port. We had a look at him a couple of weeks ago firsthand, and Big Sweetie's over at the Bulldogs. Just a quick update on those guys.
Yeah, so Boyd's around the mark. He's taken him a little while to get used to the AFL system, and talking to the few of the guys at Port who I'm still pretty close with, really enjoy what he's doing. They love the aggression, the spark that he brings to the team. He's going to develop himself quite nicely, hopefully into an AFL footballer one day. If not, then hopefully he can come back here and play for the Roosters, which would be great for us. So he's being cheeky. He's just doing what he does on the footy park, and that's what we love about him, and why he played for us at that back end of the year. And Jordan Sweet, a little bit unlucky, got suspended I think for 3 weeks for belting a bloke in one of the games. So unfortunate for him, but talking to the guys at the Bulldogs, and they're really happy with how he's developed. They can see massive upside to his game, like we did towards that back half of the year, especially with his stoppages and clearance stuff. And he's the sort of kid that's willing to do anything when the coach tells you, hey, let's do this weekend, playing against one of the Oppo rucks. And he's always wanting to be a team first type of player and help out his team. So he's developing nicely. The Bulldogs are really happy with him, so I wouldn't have thought we'd see those guys anytime soon, but you never know in this game.
No. And we'll get back to the Roosters now, mates. Obviously, the reserves who you coach had their first win of the season. They played some great footy. It's been they've been around the mark for a few weeks, but they finally put 4 quarters together. Just talk us through the win.
Yeah, no, it's been a tough start of the year. We've had a lot of new guys introduced into the system. We probably would have lost 15, 16, 17 premiership guys who are either left the footy club or been out and injured. So it's really good to get an influx of new guys into the team, and we've been okay for the first three or so weeks. Our performance hasn't been consistent for 4 quarters. We've played bit football here and there for a quarter or a half a game, which has got us in an opportunity to win, but we just haven't got over that line. And Nord are a really strong team in their reserves, and had a really good team on the weekend, but we changed up a few little things with the guys and made it really fresh for them, and they really responded to those changes. So for them, it was just a great team effort. Some of the guys played really well, and we're looking forward to seeing those guys keep on developing developing, not just for this week, but in the future.
We've obviously seen a few of the reserves lads get their debut in recent weeks in Strato Agarastos, Liam Verity. James Swartz has got himself up in the league side as well. Just name another few that we can look forward to seeing hopefully in the next few weeks.
Yeah, and it's a great credit to those guys. Part of my job is to force those guys or try to encourage those guys to get into the league team. And Strato and Liam, I think, in the reserves competition, were leading the goal kicking after 3 and 4 rounds at 11 apiece. So it's really good for them. James Schwartz has, been the dominant midfielder probably for the last 18 months in that competition. So for him to come in and play has been really good for his development and for all 3 guys, which is good. Some of the guys who are playing really good in the reserves at the moment, a young guy named Frank Zakelli, who's a half-forward, real speedster, beautiful kick, and loves to run and carry with the ball, and he could potentially get his opportunity in the next few weeks. Dakota Nixon's coming back from injuries, obviously played league football before, but he's just a classy inside mid. He can go forward, and he's got a big tank and a beautiful kick. So, and there's a few other guys who we'd like to think are developing nicely who potentially could come in for league selection in the next week or so.
Yeah, and then just onto the league game, probably second quarter we had a lot of opportunities. We had field position in our forward half, we just couldn't quite put the score on the board, and Nords were probably just the better team on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at Nord's team, they're very well rounded from offence through their midfield, and their defence is really standing up. They're playing a little bit more man on man compared to what they were last year, which is shutting down the exit for teams, but their midfield group is as good as any as you see it in any state league competition. So we had our challenges. We thought we gave ourselves a great opportunity to compete and be in the game for 4 quarters. Unfortunately, I think their class was a little bit better than ours, and full credit to them. They got the job done on what is a pretty special day, Anzac Day, and it's great education for our guys to keep learning that we're never out of the games and to keep fighting to the end, which is what our group has sort of done over the last 3 weeks, but it just hasn't got us to the result. So fingers crossed this weekend against Sturt, it can get the job done for us. But in saying that, Sturt's coming off a really good win against South Adelaide, who are a really tough competition and a fair team. So we're going to have to be at our best to try to get a result this weekend at Peter Motley.
Yep, obviously Sturt. They've got a very classy midfield themselves. They'll probably rank up there with Nord. So is that the area of focus for this week? Yeah,
I think so. It's obviously a bit of the offense and defensive transition and how we match up against them. But most teams, their midfield group, win or lose them the game. So our guys have to be really strong to compete against Aidan Riley, Kirkwood, Battersby, Calhoun, and all these sort of guys who are playing some really good, consistent football for them. And under a new coach, they're playing some pretty good, exciting football. And our guys are going to have to really step it up and be at our best to win.
Yep. As we said, we're up against Sturt this week at Peter Motley Oval. There's a triple header with the girls kicking off at 10:15, followed by the reserves at 12 o'clock, and then we get to the big game at 2:40 against Sturt. Peter Motley Oval, hopefully you see a lot of red and white down there for a Roosters win. Thanks for joining us. See you later.